Hello everyone. We are going to talk about speech 1 and the 8-step process today. Ideally, I would be doing this on Collaborate Ultra, but because of the impending storm, I just want to make sure I can get all the information out to you guys so that you are able to view this at your convenience and not have to worry about weather, power outages, and things like that. So this will be available to you to watch throughout the week. So please make sure you take the time to do that. And here we go. All right, so speech 1. It's very exciting that you guys are starting your first speech this week. There's a few things that you guys are going to have to do for the speech. I don't know why this, there we go. So speech 1. So speech 1 is a getting to know you speech. Your goal is to talk about yourself and teach us about you in an informative and entertaining manner. So I would say the best bet is to pick things that are easy to talk about, that are interesting about you. Don't worry so much about, like an autobiography of yourself. Just kind of give us some interesting facts that you think that we could really relate to. The whole idea is to get you guys comfortable talking in public. Like that is the point of this class. Now, once you get started, if you have not yet, make sure you guys watch the Brandy video, the example video I posted last week, and it's on this week's agenda as well. So make sure you guys watch hers, but also use the outline on page 211 as a guide. So that's in your book, and it is really good. It shows you exactly how an outline should look. It shows you like she doesn't really write a whole lot, but she gets a lot out in her speech. Okay? So once you have that ready to go, make sure you practice at least 3 times before you record yourself. Okay? Don't let the first time you give the speech be the first time someone records you. Give yourself some time to practice. Also, when you guys are done, make sure you guys are turning in all of your accompanying paperwork, which is the outline, page 107 and page 109, which we are going to talk about today. Okay? I'm looking forward to listening and scoring your first speeches. This is what this class is all about. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys have to say. So, quick little thing, speech makeup policy. Now, this is, I have to have this in place for several reasons. One being, I realize that emergencies happen, but I also want you all to realize that our time is valuable, including mine, and there's just not time for makeups. Now, I realize emergencies happen, so there is a policy in place. So make sure you guys take a look at that. It's in the PDF file for your online Speech 1 packet if you take a look at it. Basically, if for some reason you can't get your speech recorded and turned in by Thursday, everything else needs to be turned in on time. So make sure you review that. Ask me if you have questions. I know, like I said, emergencies happen, but realize that our time is valuable, and I also teach 3 other speech classes, so I have lots of speeches to grade, so I don't have a lot of time to do makeup speeches, so just keep that in mind, okay? And you guys don't have a lot of time to do makeup speeches too, because you have 4 other speeches that you got to worry about for this class. Okay, so let's get right to it. All right, so I want you guys to go ahead and view page 107 in your book. Okay, you can also look at 213. That's the Brandy example. That's what she wrote for all of that. But if you guys go to page 107, that's what you are going to fill out. You hear me flipping pages, and I'm flipping along with you. That's what you guys are going to fill out and turn in. Okay, so this is the demographic worksheet, step 1. So there's 8 steps. Step 1 takes an entire page. Okay, I guess the whole idea is that this is a really important step, the occasion and audience analysis. You have to understand that knowing your audience is so important when you are giving a speech. We spend a lot of time talking about this and spend a lot of time doing this because in the future, you need to know how to read your audience so that you're giving effective speeches. So, for example, giving a speech online is a little bit different. Yes, you guys will have your audience members, which will probably be family and friends, but your true audience is your classmates and myself. So once you kind of watch other speeches and you're in class for a little while, you'll start to realize what people like, what people dislike, what people look for. So those are things you have to keep in mind, okay? So when you start the speech writing process, you need to think about your audience. Why are you getting together? Is it a business meeting? Is it a club meeting? Are we paying tribute to somebody? Is it a commencement? Think of the why, the when, and the where. Learn as much about your physical environment as you can. And for example, will you need special equipment? So a lot of you are going to be giving your speech probably in your living room. What things are you going to need? Think about it. Okay? If you were giving a speech in my classroom, you wouldn't need anything. We already have a podium. We already have places for people to put their stuff. But what about in your living room? What things do you need so that you can give an effective speech? Really, really think about it, okay? So what I want you guys to do for step 1, which is the entire page of 107, is I want you guys to look on page 213. A lot of this stuff you can basically copy over onto page 107. Excuse me, sorry. We can copy over, like, the age range, numbers of females and males. Now, a lot of this stuff people always ask, what's the purpose? Like, why does it matter the race and ethnicity? Why does it matter the religious background? Honestly, for this particular class, it really doesn't matter. We're all in this. This is a learning process. We're going through the steps together. This is more or less giving you a process so you can start really thinking about giving speeches in a different setting. So if you were hired to give a speech somewhere, you would want to know as much about your audience as possible so your message could reach as many people as possible. And I hope that makes sense. Okay, moving on. So, the demographic sketch, I apologize, that is the wrong page number on there. It should say 107, but determine the who. Okay, that's what you're going to be doing for the rest of the part B. Okay. All right, so now going on to step 2. So step 2, it starts on page 109 for what you guys are going to turn in, and then 215 is the Brandy example. So topic selection for this one is pretty straightforward because you're just basically telling us 3 life influences or 3 things about you. Now sometimes this can be difficult because people feel like they don't have a topic or they don't know what they could talk about that's interesting. So think about, like, what are you interested in? What topics do you already know about? Okay, what are some special interests of my audience? What things do we share in common? Okay, now during the speech writing process, you can always change your mind, but just remember, you have to come back to step 2 and start over again, okay? Step 1 you don't have to redo, but step 2 through 8 you have to redo, okay? All right, so step 3, central idea sentence. So this is, once you have more of a topic, this is when you are going to get more specific. What do you want your audience to know specifically about your topic? This is kind of like a thesis statement, a declarative statement, and it's the focal point around which you will develop for your speech. Okay, so like Brandy's example is several life influences that have molded Brandy into the person she is today. So it's very simple. You could probably do something similar along those lines for yours for this particular speech. Step 4 is the general purpose. So for this one, it's going to be informative. Okay, because you're informing us about you. So other things that you can think about, so given what you figured out for steps 1 through 3, do you want to increase their knowledge? Do you want to change their mind on a topic? So for this particular speech, you want to increase our knowledge. So that's why it's informative. Step 5. Now, step 5 is the purpose statement, and this is getting even more specific. So this will identify the main points of your speech. So given your topic, central idea, general purpose, you're going to write a statement that identifies your main points. So here's an example. So say, for example, you're going to talk about crime. Your central idea statement is crime is increasing in professional sports, and your purpose is to persuade us of that. Your specific purpose statement is, I want my audience to be convinced that crime is increasing in professional football, basketball, and baseball in the U.S., resulting in serious social harm. So see how specific that is? So you go from general to specific, okay? Make sure you're looking at Brandy's example for that. Now step 6, you're not going to have to do for this particular speech because it is about you, okay? But for the rest of the speeches, you're going to have to do some research. So once you have identified your main points, it's time to start researching information to support your central idea, aka the thesis. Okay, so 4 basic methods to gather information: personal observations, written publications, the internet, interviews, make sure they're credible. Okay, we'll get more into that once we get closer to those speeches. Step 7 is organization, which is in Unit 11, so make sure you guys look at that. Again, I apologize, these page numbers are from last time. So let me change that for you. 47 to page, let's see, page 50. Right, those are the correct page numbers to the new textbook, okay? Those are different outline patterns you can use to create your outline. And then step 8 is practice your delivery. Rehearse your speech using your delivery outline. Practicing this will help you familiarize yourself with the material and enhance your chance to be an effective speaker. It also can reduce your communication apprehension, especially if you're familiar with your topic and your speech before you deliver it, okay? Also, guys, if during this week, before Thursday, before the due date, if you want me to look over your outline or if you want me to watch you give a speech and you're in town, I'd be happy to meet with you. I'd be happy to discuss things with you. I'd be happy to look at your outline if you want to email it to me. Okay? Know that I'm here to help you and I want you guys to be successful. So, I hope this cleared up a few things for you. And if you have any questions, please, please, please contact me.